All right, Chang, I was going to do this on your podcast, but I thought it'd be more fun to invite you on mine. Every once in a while, I have a food take that makes you so mad you can't even respond for a couple seconds before you then respond, and then you just berate me for the take. And
because you've been priming me this for a couple months now. You won't even share me. You wouldn't let me know like 2 months ago. You wanted to wait for this moment to let the world know this hot take.
We've lost the narrative with pizza. We've gone too far. I blame some of the people we know and pizza that I love to eat. But we have now drifted down the river away from our pizza center point, and it's become all about the dough and how it's cooked and the kind of bread and the ingredients, and the tomatoes have to be perfect. And it's like, you know what also is good? A fucking slice of pizza. How about cheese and sauce with a thin crust, and it comes out of the oven and it's cheesy and the cheese is melting all over my mouth. And I actually have a whole bite, 10 bites in a slice versus 2. And then it's just a bunch of bread with the best possible ingredients and arugula and all these dumb things. You know what? It's good. Cheese and pepperoni and a lot of tomato sauce cooked with cheese getting brown on top. And I don't know why we just can't keep doing that. Why do we have to change pizza? I love pizza. Why are we moving in this new direction with pizza? And all the chefs and all the best food people are like, this is a great direction. It's awesome. And it's like, is it? Are we sure?
Wow. That's not necessarily a hot take if you're wrong, because I didn't know that the listeners of The Ringer on Spotify are listening to Dave Portnoy. This is crazy. This is fucking crazy, Bill.
You think this is my one bite take?
Yeah, you're basically saying like pizza's got to be this one thing. It is beautiful that pizza. Yes, you're saying it's got to be this like this throwback idea of a simple slice of pizza, right? Cheese pizza. I get it.
I like a big triangle piece of pizza I like sauce on it. I like cheese. I want to make sure the cheese is cooked enough. And I don't like a lot of bread. And every time I go, I was at Bianco's last week. I love Bianco's. It's fantastic. I think he has a couple of the best pizzas I've ever had. But I don't like to eat the crust. Some people do. I don't. I just like the pizza part.
What do you mean you don't like the crust? Come on.
I'm not a crust guy.
Bill,
I'm not.
Bill.
But that's the thing. It's like now I'm looked down on that I'm not a crust guy. I'm a sauce and cheese guy. What about the sauce and cheese community with pizza?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the crust. It's fine.
Why did we have to get so artsy-fartsy with pizza? Why can't somebody be like, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to make the best version of the pizza that you grew up eating. And it's going to be big squares. Like when we go to New York, all the New York people are like, oh, our pizza's the best. Oh, there's nothing like New York pizza. It's like, it's just these giant slices, but they're really good.
Yeah. You and Dave Portnoy. You are the only two people in the world that want pizza this way.
I'm not the only two. There's other people.
No. Listen, we're talking about our good friend, Chris Bianco. The reason why people are talking about pizza and they're so infatuated with all of the ingredients, the toppings, and the sort of single origin flour, etc., is because of Chris Bianco. This guy.
And it's delicious. And I've been there probably 12 times in the last year. But
I guess pizza's better today than it's ever been before in America.
There's high level pizza. So this is like its own category. It's almost like don't call it pizza, create a new word for it. And then the old school, cheaper, less thought put into a pizza that I also really like. And I feel like that's getting shoved out to the side. Why can't we also spend time trying to make that kind of pizza better? And we have both leagues, basically like 2 conferences in the NFL.
Well, I know there's a couple. What you're asking for are like the old school slice shops, and I believe that is going to make a comeback in Los Angeles, in New York.
Oh,
that's
so
everywhere.
Here I am. Yeah, let's go.
It's everywhere. It's
let's
never gone anywhere.
I'm into something.
Listen, I'm going to give you a comp that you might understand a little bit better because I believe it's sports, adjacent. How would you feel today if you had someone on your podcast that was in basketball and they would say, well, Americans still produce the best basketball players in the world. That's it. America is the best at basketball.
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
It's true.
What about all the international players?
There's a lot of good international players, but I think there's still more good American players versus any other country, right?
Is that going to continue, you think? Or is it going to be maybe one
I think
side
the
or the other way?
seesaw will be foreign players, American players, which right now is like this, and it might end up tilting as the years go
And
along.
I think a lot of people would say that the best pizza in the world is in Italy, right? And there's many kinds of pizza in Italy. I think it's safe to say that America produces the best pizza in the world across the board, and all kinds. And that's why I don't think the slice of pizza that you're talking about has gone anywhere. It's just there. There's just more shine on these more bespoke artisanal pies, right? That were sort of the
let's
progeny
come up
of
with a name
Bianco.
for them. It's like a high-end pizza. It's like pizza 2.0.
Yeah. But original pizza, the sliced pizza, that again, your son probably doesn't really know that much about, right? It's not the pizza that you get delivered from Domino's or Papa John's. It's like the slice that you would get on your college campus at 2 a.m.
I want the best possible version of that, where it's I feel like we're not making that as much anymore. I have trouble finding that, especially in LA. Now, granted, I know we're in a weird pizza spot in LA.
But also, I think the younger generation, right? They don't necessarily gravitate towards that. They want the pizza 2.0.
Can we bring in Kyle? Nephew Kyle, can you come into this just as a tiebreaker? And somebody who's eaten a lot of pizza? Which do you like, pizza 2.0 or pizza 1.0?
1.0, easy. I don't mess around.
Okay, can you explain to Chang why?
It's like bacon, egg, and cheeses. I just don't feel safe going around trying to find them out here. There's a couple of names that people told me. I stick to it. If there's a weird logo on the pizza place, I probably won't even go in. If it's like it looks gimmicky.
Kyle, you're a son of New York. How the hell would you even think about eating a bacon, egg, and cheese in California?
You don't want to admit the truth. Some people just want pizza 1.0. And every once in a while, go nuts. I'm like, I'm going to do the pizza 2.0. But sometimes pizza 1.0 is great.
Pizza 1.0 isn't like a Roy Hibbert center. It hasn't died. It's here. They're everywhere.
I feel like it's dying. All the best chefs care about pizza 2.0.
Chris Bianco actually has a pizza 1.0 at the Row. He has that other pizza shop. You don't go there. It's delicious.
They make the pizza 1.0 at the Bianco one?
Yeah, Pane Bianco. Have you not had Pane Bianco pizza?
I haven't. It was always about to be open, and I haven't been there yet.
Well, put it this way. Imagine pizza 1.0 with pizza 2.0 ingredients, quality level.
That sounds amazing.
Right? Yeah, it exists, Bill. It's here.
I will say the Rosa pizza at Pizzeria Bianco is the most creative pizza I've ever eaten still. The one with the pistachios and onions. And what cheese is that in that?
It's just mozzarella. But the audience, they may be confused here because they might think this endangered species of pizza 1.0 isn't there. I'd argue that one of the things that is happening right now across America, New York Times had an article recently that there's better pizza ever in every city. It's like better to eat pizza now. And it's not all Neapolitan pies, which are thin crust. The 1.5 version is what I'm talking about. That classic sliced New York style pie, but it's not made with crappy ingredients. And for example, one of the reasons I don't love that dollar sliced pie in New York City, Kyle, you know what I'm talking about? When you're drunk, they're great. $1 for a slice of pizza, you can't beat that. But the ingredients are sort of just, they're good enough. Right. Now, what if you made that kind of pie with the best quality ingredients? And that is happening.
So pizza 0.0 is drunk pizza.
Yeah.
That's like, I think the best drunk pizza I've ever had is the Prince Street pizza. Those big giant Sicilian slices where they put like 700 pepperoni on each slice, and it's 2 a.m. and it's like,
You need to soak up all of that booze.
Right. So that's 0.0. 1.0. So you're telling me that the 1.0 version
1.5
back.
The 2.0 is a lot of new toppings, a lot of people putting their own spins on pizza. But I'm with you. I like all the pizza. I'm just saying
we're going to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
I have my next food take for you.
Let's hear it.
Clam chowder. We're doing it wrong for the most part. And the reason I know this is when you actually have good clam chowder, it makes you mad at all the other clam chowder. So Simmons family Cape Week, my dad's family, they all got together in Chatham. We went to lunch at the Chatham Bars Inn, whatever it's called, and they have clam chowder there. And it was the best clam chowder I've ever had. And they did a couple different things. And I just think it should be translatable to all the other people who make the clam chowder. 1, not too thick. 2, not too many clams. People make clam chowder. They just like throw 700,000 clams and just like you eat every bite. It's like the right mix of like the potatoes have to be soft. It's not too thick. They also they did this bacon. It's like these bacon bits. They put like in a little circle on the side so you can mix the bacon bits in. And they had like the right crock, which I think is another piece of the clam chowder experience. Like the crock is super important. And it was really good. And I just feel like everyone else who makes clam chowder should just go there and see what they're doing and just emulate it. Because it's always too thick. There's always too many clams. It's always in the wrong kind of bowl. And I think clam chowder, people mess up more than it's good. And I just want us to be better at clam chowder.
Bill, I don't disagree with that hot take, but I have a hotter version of that hot take.
Oh, let's hear it.
Probably no one will agree with me, particularly no one from the New England area. I, David Chang, make the greatest clam chowder in the world. I really do.
What?
Yeah.
When have you ever made clam chowder? What the hell are you talking about?
I make clam chowder all the time. And
For
we're talking
who?
about the New England style. Me, my family. You have not had it. I guarantee you, if you eat my clam chowder, you're going to be like, man, that is the best clam chowder I've ever had.
So without giving away your secrets, what is the secret?
So number one, it starts with the root. You're right. Most clam chowder is garbage because they add cream and they add other things that sort of emulsify it and makes it too thick, right?
Yeah.
And also the potatoes. You said it right. You can't sort of keep it in there because as it cooks, as you continue to serve it, it's going to break down. And that's another reason why, because it's full of starch, that the soup will get too thick. So you sort of have to cook things separately and adding the bacon bits or the lardons is a great idea. I actually will steal that one. But the one thing that I do that changes the clam chowder is I don't add the clams until the very end. I cook the clams separate.
Interesting.
Because
so how come?
Clams become like the texture of a number 2 like pencil eraser. It's terrible, right? So you also need to have enough broth clams. So people may add too many clams, but not enough clam broth. So I'm just saying, are you pro celery in your New England clam chowder or no?
No, I'm not really. That's a little too ambitious for me.
All right. Now I'm going to have to make clam chowder for you. And when I make it, my only ask is that when you taste it, you got to let your audience know that Dave was right. This is the best clam chowder I've ever had.
So the mistakes, first of all, I don't believe you. You're not from New England, so there's no way. There's no way you'll know how to make the perfect clam chowder. I'll just challenge you right now. Second, the mistakes people make with the clam chowder, I really want them to stop making it. It doesn't have to be like a fucking milkshake.
First
clam
of all,
chowder,
Bill,
they want to be like, oh, it's creamy. It's like, no, it doesn't have to be that creamy. It's actually better when it's not that creamy.
What we need to do is stop other cities from making New England clam chowder. San Francisco, I don't know why the fuck they make clam chowder in a sourdough bread bowl. One of the dumbest sort of combinations you could possibly do, right? Clam chowder is put on too many menus, number one.
It's a great point. I don't understand the bread bowl ad at all. It's like, how can we get more starch into this? Let's have a bread bowl. I don't need a bread bowl.
I mean, if you go to your like corporate cafeteria and they serve clam chowder, that's a no. You do not get that. Don't order that. You got to get it from a clam shack, something like that, where you hear the New England accent, where it's you don't even understand what they're saying. Like these are signs that it's going to be a good chowder, or I have to make it for you. That's it.
Well, the cousin of this is the French onion soup, which I think gets screwed up a lot. No. But just the same mistakes with the French onion soup where people will put in just too many onions, right? Or they'll try to do it in a bowl that's not the perfect bowl. If you're doing the French onion correctly, you want the cheese to like burn on the sides of the crock. Of course. And you want it to not have too much onion in it. You don't want too much bread in it. It's got to have the right.
Well, French onion soup has like a high margin of error. Like it's really hard to not enjoy even a mediocre bowl of French onion soup.
I always get it, knowing that it's probably a B- to a C-, and I want to be pleasantly surprised if it's better than that, right?
Going back to the chowder, here's another maybe hot take that people may not even know exists. I think the best chowder isn't the New England clam chowder. It's Rhode Island clam chowder. Do you even know what that is? It's clear. It's just a clam broth with some potatoes and bacon in there. It's super light. It's great.
Typical Rhode Island. They always have to like do their own version of something. Accents, clam chowder. Oh God.
I got one beef with one of your hot takes of late, because
yeah,
you are really peppering your podcast and the podcast that you're on, The Ringer, with a lot of food takes and a lot of food
the veal
comparisons.
Chop? Yeah.
You said the veal chop is this thing that's hit or miss. I don't think it's ever a miss.
It's always, if it's not cooked enough, if it's too fat, if it's too fatty, there's a bunch of ways it can go wrong.
I don't think I've ever had a bad veal chop. I don't know what that means, that it's hit or miss. I think most people would say that the veal chop is one of the most dependable things you can order.
So you think I should change that analogy to French onion soup?
But I don't even know if that's the right wing too, because most people enjoy the French onion soup. Like, I don't think I've had French onion soup so bad that I was like, oh, I don't want to eat that. I don't know what it is.
So what's the good analogy? Because for people listening, the one that I used before was Devin Chang, the Dolphins running back, where it's like it's the hit or miss scenario of spending $45 on them.
I think the hit or miss scenario is simply this, and it's something that I feel like as you get older you might experience. It's when you order fish, right? At any kind of restaurant.
Yeah,
it's not even too fishy. You're like, why did I get that? That I'm enjoying everything else except this. Everyone else ordered the right thing. I don't know why I decided to order fish. And it's usually hit or miss. Usually, if it's good, you feel great. You feel like you won the ordering. But if it's bad, you feel like an idiot. Well,
that leads me to food hot take number 3, which will either be the one you agree with the most violently, can't speak, or the one you get the maddest about. So, as I said, I was in the Cape for like 8 days. And I really do think seafood in New England and off the Cape is the best seafood. There's Maryland people, but fuck you, we have the best crabs. Like, I get it. This is totally provincial. With that said, scallops in Massachusetts and especially on the Cape, I just love scallops. And the reason I think I'm in the right on scallops is it's the one thing you order where you always feel like they kind of cheated you on the portions. Right. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'll have the scallops like for an entree. And it's like, then it comes out and it's like 6 scallops. Like they could barely spare the scallops. It's like, man, I wish I had 9 scallops. These are delicious. So anyway, I had scallops and must have ordered it 4 or 5 times in like 8 days. I was just putting it with everything. So 2 things off this. One, why hasn't anybody come up with scallop chowder yet?
There is scallop chowder.
I've never had it. I've never seen it.
There's like
I would order it every time.
It's usually seen as like a scallop corn chowder. That's weirdly a classic combo.
Feels like scallops are sitting there. Anyway, we came back from the Cape, and my wife was at the farmer's market, and they have like a really good fish place at the farmer's market. And I was like, let's get scallops. We'll buy a bunch of scallops. So I'll finally have enough scallops. So she pan-fried the scallops, did these breadcrumbs, and it was absolutely delicious. And I was like, why aren't scallops a bigger deal? Scallops are the fucking best. And I don't know. I think scallops is the most underrated food.
I can't believe, Bill, I'm going to agree with you here.
Scallops underrated. Yes, we finally have agreement.
And I'm not just saying this for saying it. It's true. Scallops underrated, but also one of those things where I think people either get them frozen or they're sort of past their sell-by date and they get ammoniated. But
you need them fresh. You need them like basically pulled out of the ocean.
And when I mean fresh, we'd get them at the restaurant. They're literally pulsating. They're alive, right? And
right.
You can eat them raw. You can pop them in your mouth like they're an M&M. And why scallops are so good is they have a high sugar content. And when they're like cooked and you get that caramelized, scallops are just one of the most delicious things you could possibly eat. And the fact is this, if you had to ask me where the best scallops in the world are, I would say maybe like the cold waters off of France. But I would bet that if this was like a World Cup of scallops around the world, we're basically France or Brazil, like New England area. It's that good. The scallops that are produced in the New England area, off the Cape, Nantucket, yeah, we're number one. Number one, America produces that region. Everywhere else, not so good in America. The only place scallops are really truly made is Maine to Nantucket. So yeah.
What is your number one way to prepare a scallop, like for an entree that you're buying into? Because I like the lightly breaded kind of scallop with some lemon on it, and maybe something a little spicy but not too spicy, and then you want the big fat and just stick your fork in and go.
So I'm a no bread kind of guy. I understand, but
yeah,
I like the tiny Nantucket Bay that are like really, really small. I can eat those literally raw because they're so sweet. Or if you're going to cook them very quickly, just, a little bit of butter, a little bit of lemon juice, salt and pepper, and that's all you need. But I would probably say the thing that I love the most are those giant hockey puck Maine diver sea scallops that are just super sweet and one of my favorite things to eat. And I think that is just simply pan roasted, little bit of butter, salt, pepper. That's all you need. Maybe a sprig of thyme. But it's hard to get because, again, it's only really produced in that area, and you don't want to get it frozen. That's just a fact.
So if we're getting on the West Coast,
no,
it was found, they shipped it, it was in ice for 2 days, it was in the fridge.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever ordered scallops in California, ever.
I don't think I would either. But when I'm in New England, I want to get them all the time. So it's interesting because people always, when they ask about, like Massachusetts, what's the food? And people always say lobster roll. And lobster rolls are good, but to me, the scallops and the right kind of clam chowder are the two best New England things that I feel like I can't get anywhere else.
I got to do this thing for Amazon Thursday Night Football. We're going to compare like the iconic foods of different cities. I've asked you this already. I want to know if your answer's changed. When we do the New England Patriots versus whatever team, what is the food that is most representative of New England? Is it the clam chowder or lobster roll?
I think people would say the lobster roll, but I don't necessarily agree with it.
But as a local, you would say it's not lobster roll, it's chowder, right?
I would say the clam chowder.
That's what we're going to go
But
with.
a lot of people would say lobster roll. And really the stealth answer is scallops. Because I just feel like that the scallop level in that area is just so much higher than any other area in the United States. It's no contest.
They're not going to say like cod or something like that?
The cod's kind of boring. Even though cod's good. Baked cod's good. I'm a fan. It delivers the goods, especially if you put some stuff in it and get a little excited about it. All right. So basically this is all leading to, could somebody ever create a scallop pizza? Pizza 2.0 with scallops.
No. That should never happen.
Maybe that's a challenge for you on. So next time I come on, maybe it's like a scallops thing. How do we get the scallops in LA fast enough so they're not?
We can get them live in the shell. So that's one way you can do scallops. So maybe that's what we'll do.
Maybe we do like
some
a whole fish thing. All right.
Yeah. Done and done.
You have to go. Congrats on having a QB. Don't forget dinner time with Dave Chang. When you come back?
October 8th.
And when are you doing Amazon football stuff?
Next week should be my first bit for Amazon Thursday Night Football.
And you have a podcast with The Ringer as well. You're a busy man.
That's right.
Good to see you, Dave Chang.
Thanks, Bill.